When I'm walking down the street.
I do want to say to Doni and many of you in this room that over a very long career in this city, all of you have helped me and my colleagues tell the truth and to try to tell.
I may not look like you and you me, but
Put my hat up.
I'm South Carolina, so I just
gotta be you.
What does this event mean to you, Miss Peggy Moss?
Oh, my heart,
Happy 20th anniversary.
my heart is about loving up on my sisters. Do you know what it feels like to have your sisters in the room? Don.
Gotta be me and gotta be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. I am beautiful, I am blessed, but not just what you see in the flesh. I'm free from people, free from myself. There's
The doctor lived next door to the janitor to the reverend and the lawyer. We were together. Now we get so high and mighty that you create stress for your society because you don't like poor black folks either. That's a health problem. Get yourself together so I can stop being taking care of geriatric people and get back to pediatrics. I thank you, Doni, for all you've done. Let's keep doing it for all the more.
letting His glory shine through. Gotta be you, gotta be me, gotta be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. And I dare you, I dare you, I dare you to be you.
First name's Doni, last name's Glover. Entered the winner for the long haul, baby. Well, so next guest, all the way from New York. Make sure you pick up a copy of I Am Black Wall Street. Unapologetically Black. This is 2015. This is 2021. And 2024, we will be coming out with something new. But without further ado, let's see what they're talking about in the big city. Keyla, how are you?
Hello, good morning. I'm well. How are you?
You're so serene early in the morning.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm excited to dive in this morning.
So first, we should acknowledge Kashmir Gathers for, some kind of way we got connected. And you're going to be one of our honorees at the very next Black Wall Street that we do in New York City.
Yes,
So
super excited.
all we need you to do is find us a location like the Apollo. Can we do it at the Apollo?
One day. It's coming.
Welcome to the show, Keyla.
Thank you. I'm excited. Thank you for having me.
So you work for yourself?
Yes, I do work for myself full time as an entrepreneur.
How did that come about?
So originally, I think back right before the pandemic, 2019, I was working for a nonprofit for about 7 years. And just as the nonprofit was very successful, growing, but towards the end, I think they couldn't keep up with how much they were spending and fundraising. So there was just a very traumatic time for everyone at the organization where they didn't know if they could pay their staff the next day. It was a lot of confusion. And so I actually was onboarding for a role with the Small Business Services in New York City. And then the pandemic happened and they shut everything down. So life kind of forced me into entrepreneurship. I was not necessarily prepared or knew what I was doing, but I figured it out. And I've been doing it ever since. And it's been a pleasure. I think I was able to take what I learned from the job and I think life experiences. Because the one thing I always realize is you are replaceable. So whether you're at a job or wherever you are, there's no loyalty. You are the CEO of you. And that was the one thing I couldn't get fired from or laid off from, as they like to call it.
Was it depressing?
I think at first, yes, because you do experience like the rejection of like, okay, I did all the pieces right. I went to college as a first generation college graduate. Like you check all the boxes. You aim to beat the odds or defy the odds, and then life still happens. And I think that firsthand experience, it still burns because you're like, well, you don't expect it. You're like, I've been working here. I've been thinking like this is my job. This is my livelihood. And so when you kind of get blindsided, and it's happened a few times after I would do different kind of roles, and surely their budget cuts start happening, especially now. I think there's just a harsh reality of so many cuts and layoffs, but I think that seeing that over and over, you start to like internalize it sometimes. Where it's like, is this something I'm doing? What am I doing wrong? But over time, you realize like there's no loyalty, and if they have to make cuts, unfortunately, you'll be impacted, regardless of your role.
So I started this news outlet 22 years ago for a similar reason.
Mm.
I was writing for other publications.
Mm.
One is well-known family business.
Mm.
And I knew my last name wasn't their last name. So I already knew that I wouldn't be there long.
Yep. Yep.
And so I started my own. And the support did not come from where I had hoped it came from.
Absolutely.
The support came from everywhere else.
Mm.
And starting up top. Because I believe that if God gives you the vision,
Absolutely.
He'll give you the provision.
Amen.
And the handful of times I thought about quitting in 22 years, invariably there was a knock at the door, or it was a phone call. And I heard these words: the money will come. Out the clear blue. In other words, don't quit. Keep going. And I'm so glad I did. How about you?
That's good. It's same here. I think I completely wholeheartedly agree. If it's literally the God in me, because none of this will be by my own strength, by my own thought process, by my own anything. We are limited, and sometimes our thoughts make us feel limited more than we are. And so I think it's the God in me that's really moving this and making it successful as it has been. And he has really opened my eyes to so many things where I'm often the only woman of color. Many rooms I've always been since I was 16. Was in the New York Times organizing and leading a lot of campaign work. And I've always asked, like, why me? Why me? And I knew that's where the favor was between, there were rooms that I had access to that my peers could never enter. And so I had a duty and a responsibility to be that bridge, right? There was information I was gaining access to that went to a poor public high school, lived in public housing in New York. The odds are defined against us, right? So I think
I don't know about that.
Why not?
Because that's exactly where your strength is.
True.
That's exactly, they say in basketball, play to your strengths. True. So I know if I'm playing a lefty doesn't expect me, a righty, to be able to play left. And so I practice on my left. I practice. So when they go left, it's as natural to me as it is to them. So I watched you in Harlem. I watched The Room. And be it Harlem, be it Baltimore, be it LA, be it Miami. Once you understand The Room, where you grew up is your strength, because there are people who could never go to public housing, let alone go to public housing and thrive.
Right.
Because there's this fear. And you know that fear when you're not from somewhere, but after you go there, I'm going to tell you a real story from Baltimore. They don't call them public housing, they call them the projects.
Yes, yes,
I
the
went down to projects in East Baltimore, and I've been to the projects in West Baltimore, but East Baltimore is a different animal. Uzis, people strapped up and down the stairwell. But anyway, we went in this one, walking with a friend. They lived there. We found out that they were more afraid of us than we were of them. And here's something else. We assumed because they lived in the projects that they weren't living swell. I'm telling you, they had big old TVs, big old sofas. And we were like, are these projects or condos? I'm just saying.
True.
I found out that they were hardly living rough.
Yeah.
Open up the fridge, might have been some jumbo lump crab meat and some jumbo shrimp up in there. So judge not lest ye be judged. Don't judge a book by its cover.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it doesn't define you. I think it's actually, to your point, does strengthen you. But oftentimes society and the larger public will look at you a different way when you share, but it does give you the strength to overcome. And it's just your beginning, right? There's certain experiences that you get exposed to that grow that desire in you to provide and make it through and overcome.
My baby cousin lived in Linden Plaza in Brooklyn, and it didn't change his trajectory one way or the other. He's a retired cop at this juncture, but I know where he grew up only strengthened him for the role that he had to play for the next 20, 30 years. Now, his children grew up growing up in Long Island, and I understand that's a different reality.
Right.
So tell us how you got started.
Yes, so I started my consulting business. I was telling my peers and my friends, start a business, get certified, and just telling them what I was learning as I was preparing to onboard into a new role. And I kind of like fell into it. At first, I was doing a little bit of resumes and cover letters because I said, okay, this is what I'm good at since I'm being able to apply to different jobs. Then it really expanded into, okay, a lot of people were not fulfilled in their jobs. So they really desired to start a business. And so that's when I began helping and working one-on-one with people to really move the needle from the idea to execution. And so since then, I've been able to successfully be full-time for the last 2 years. I'm actually helping entrepreneurs in 3 areas. We call it our 3 B's framework. The first B is branding, because we did do a lot of website development, branding and getting people started, but it's not enough to have your website. How do you make your first sale? So that's where business development comes in, which is our second B. And we really work with entrepreneurs to work on their business plans, get certified by the city and state, and just look into procurement opportunities, etc. And our last B is back-end operations, because you truly can't scale without systems and structures in place. And so that's where we come in to help handhold entrepreneurs in their journey.
So are you certified?
Yes, a certified small business in New York City.
What about the state?
The state, yes. We're in the process of finishing up.
Have you benefited from the certifications?
So there is a discrepancy. I am benefiting in different ways, yes, but there is a discrepancy within the discrepancies. So honestly, these programs have benefited more than anyone white women. So
thank you.
I know there is a discrepancy within this.
It's a game, and I'm insulted that I gotta prove I'm black.
That's true.
Because when I'm rolling down MLK, Malcolm X, I know I'm black, especially when they pull over and I get that little anxiety in my system. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
I know I'm black. I know I'm black. When I come and I see the police locking up people, I know I'm black. I know where I'm at. I know I'm black. You don't know I'm black now. Now you don't know I'm black. It's like a double insult.
Yeah.
And it's an insult because our politicians think, oh, well, you should just go into this minority certification program and do like everybody else. You just said that white women get most of the contracts. So how much time do you expect me to put on this what if scenario when Karen and Becky getting paid? But you want me to play this game. And if I don't play this game, oh, well, blacks aren't certified. Time out, pimp. There's more than one way to skin a cat. There was a mayor of Washington, D.C. His name was Marion Barry. He created more black millionaires in the DMV than anybody. There was a man in Atlanta named Maynard Jackson. They built Hartsfield International, that huge airport in Atlanta, under his reign. And he said, essentially, if y'all don't give Herman J. Russell contract and business, we shutting all this down. We get so many black politicians. I think Hakeem Jeffries is from up your way. Everybody, praises him, looks up to him. A lot of greats have come out of your neck of the woods. But if they don't understand the interrelationship of business and politics, like, okay, yeah, you can send somebody to an MBE program, but you can also say, hold up, Joe Blow Company, you want to come in and you want to redo Yankee Stadium. You're not going to get this contract unless you have 30%, 40% black. And I don't even like the word minority because I know internationally I'm not a minority. So I don't even play this silly game they want to play. But for the sake of this contract, I'll be your minority. Just come up with that. Just cough up that money. So I know I said a lot of stuff, but it's a damn game for me because when I have gotten business from politicians, it wasn't because of no certification. You know what it was because of? A phone call.
It's true. It's true. And this is something that we talk every day, in every event, in every way. It does feel like it's a chase and a constant turnaround. But they did recently make it a law, I know, in New York, and they're working nationally, but to subcontract with 30%, but it's still, again, that category is far too wide because now anyone is a minority if it's a woman-owned business, and that's problematic. Because that's too large, that's too broad. That definition is not inclusive. That's not diverse.
So Tajmir Gathers and I worked with Mr. Walter Edwards in Harlem, and we worked with the Harlem Business Alliance.
Right.
And I can tell you one big thing that Regina Smith has been working on through the Harlem Business Alliance, 275 Malcolm X Boulevard, by the way, is the marijuana distribution. Now, I haven't really studied it in New York City, but I know here in Baltimore, now that weed is legal, none of the dispensaries are black. All of the weed black people buy, all of the weed that black people have gone to jail for, we can't get one legal distributorship. So, pardon me, but I don't care if you got a black president, a black governor, a black mayor, or whatever. And no slight to our Governor Westmore, to your mayor, Eric B. Adams, or anybody else. But it don't mean nothing if it ain't translating in the economic empowerment. You can have all of the black politicians in the world. If it don't mean money for the black community, it means nothing. It's irrelevant. It's good for you, but not your people. You go in the history books, but your people still broke.
Absolutely.
So they can sing the Star Spangled Banner and God Bless America with Ray Charles all they want, but Billie Holiday said, God bless the child has got his own.
And
Just my thought.
It's with everything, right? We look at communities that were once black owned, now who owns them, right? Especially in New York, Brooklyn.
Seneca Village in 82nd, 89th Street at Central Park. In Brooklyn, you have Weeksville, some of our first black towns. I'm big on Black Wall Street, but Tulsa was 1921. What happened in New York was in the 1800s, 1828, 1835 first. That's where freedom was. Freedom started in New York, 1827. So we're used to having our own. You think of Philip Payton, the godfather of Harlem. Did some of the first rentals for Black people in Harlem. We've always been about business. You've had blacks on Wall Street long time ago. But too many of us don't know our history, don't know what's available. Because if more of us did, then maybe your way would be a lot easier. But I'm glad you persevered anyway. Who inspired you?
A great question. I have to say my mom was a single mother of 3 to 4, then 4. I have a younger brother who's 15 years apart. And she was always hardworking, always persevered. And I think I get a lot of my strength and um to
You got to do
from
your
her.
shout outs next. Come on, let's get your shout outs in.
Yeah.
You got Lauren.
Yes. Hi, Lord said everyone.
Sadara.
They showing love. So
Riz the
anyway,
rock star.
yes. So I
Raya.
think hi, that's Nithya.
Good
So
stuff.
yeah, so that's basically I think that first hand experience keeps you motivated. And then I did have a few mentors too in high school and different organizations I was a part of that was also helpful in my journey as well.
Did you take any college?
Yes, I went to school in Buffalo, New York, 8 hours away. I wasn't planning on going there. I kind of fell or ended up there too, and then realized it was 8 hours away when I went the first day of school. I didn't realize New York was so big, but it was a PWI, which is a private white institution, a small college in Buffalo, and I enjoyed my experience, although it had its challenges. But I was able to graduate back in 2016.
You know what college proves?
What does it prove?
You can finish something.
That's good. That'll speak to you.
It takes something to finish.
It does.
Anybody can start. My daddy said it like this, said a heap see, but a few know. Many start, but a few go. I said, what's that mean, man? Because he always had these one-liners. Finish. That's what it means. Finish. Finish what you start. Anybody can start something. Can you finish? So I'm proud of you. Let me ask you, do you find so let's get this out of the way, because I saw some Spanish names on here. You got roots in the Black community and the Latino community?
Yes. So my dad is from Dominican Republic and my mom is from Puerto Rico. So yes.
Baricua.
Yes. Yes, a little mixed.
So that's how I got cousins in New York. We had a grandfather from Santurce, near San Juan, Puerto Rico. I've never been. My siblings have gone.
You should go.
I would love to go.
It's beautiful.
It's on the agenda. What advantage does that give you?
I
¿Tú
think
hablas español?
yes, I do. I think the advantage it does help me work with, of course, Latin businesses, but at the same time, I think the more important advantage is I think there's a powerful history from each of the countries as well, where I always desire, and I have a grandma who has literally been able to take what she has and try to provide for her children. So she's been, since she was years ago, since I was like young and younger, she's been saving and buying properties for each of her children. And I think in Puerto Rico, right? So at least for her legacy, they at least have a home. And I think Puerto Rico has a huge history, and there's so much pain and victory, but all these things that how it's treated now too is looked at as like second class citizens. You'll hear and different things. But I say that to say
Second class where? in U.S.?
Second in the U.S. Yes, there's like this that it's neglected. It's you kind of like hear it as a colony. It doesn't really have any power to really move the needle on anything. No representation, and so there's just a lot of mixed emotions, rightfully so, because it feels as though they're not valued enough, right? You want their resources, you'll take advantage of what they can offer you, but leave them. And then when the hurricane had happened, we saw the response to that. We saw the discrepancies within that. And that just goes to show you they're not a value for, in my opinion, it's not as much of a value as any other.
Well, I got to tell you that back during February, during Black History Month, I was at the White House and I met Paige Heard. Paige Heard, I think is the goddaughter of DMX. She's an Afro-Latina.
Yes. The actress?
Yes.
Yes.
And then I met Lawrence Fishburne's ex-wife. And I'd have to go back and look up her name. Y'all can kick my butt another day. But the White House acknowledged they had a whole Afro-Latina day. And they wanted people to understand the dual connection, because I got to find a name for you. One of the things that comes up, yes, I'm Black, but I got Latino roots. But you know, like I know, if I mention that or talk about that in certain Black circles, then the cat gonna look at you, oh, you want to be something other than what you are. It's like, no, I'm just telling you what my damn history is. And that's what your interpretation is. I also have indigenous roots. My grandma on my dad's side was Blackfoot Indian, but you and I know that if you discuss some of these things around certain people, because they don't know their own damn history, then they catch feelings because you know yours. I put a video on this very YouTube channel. It's at the top on Black Indians, and then here comes, and I'm down with the comments from the Mexicans. I'm down with the comments from the white people, but it's your own that can be the most hurtful. Like, why we want to be anything but what we are, and it's like, well, time out, dummy, because Skip Gates, the Harvard professor, says that 2 to 3% of Black people have indigenous roots. I find that to be a bizarre lie. Let me tell you why. Have you interviewed all the 444 million, all 44.4 million Black people, Skip Gates? No, you're going off of something you read in a damn book, probably printed by somebody who don't look like you, to tell you who your people are. Another thing, Ancestry.com. They have nowhere, I got the little damn kid here. They have nowhere in there where they have taken a group of indigenous peoples and said that you, Doni, you, Keyla, you have 3% Blackfoot, because it's not in their mentality. When I wrote this book on blackwashing, I'll leave you with this. I'll stop here. I learned that down in Florida, Spain owned Florida until 1831. So if your ancestors were enslaved in Georgia, South Carolina, Louisiana, and they made it to Florida, despite all of the stuff that we hear about Florida today, Florida was a Black stronghold. The Black Seminoles, the first Black in Florida was a free man, a Spanish conquistador named Juan Garrido. But they would have us think all Black people came in the bottom of a slave ship, that all white people came here on a speedboat, that all Black people were slaves, that all white people were free, and that's a lie. White people were enslaved, and some Black people were free. Never had a trace of slavery in their background. So our history does not begin nor end with slavery. We have been in this country, according to my research, Blacks have been on in the Americas for 14,000 years, at least. Look up Luzia, Luzia in Brazil. But I digress. I say you got to know who you are, so some idiot don't try to tell you who they think you are.
That's right.
I'm going to get the lady's name. What are your thoughts?
I agree. I think it's unfortunate that there is this division within our own community, because even in the Latin community, you'll hear a lot of people, oh, I'm not Black. Oh, I'm not. There's a division, a divide. And what is it? Divide and conquer. So the more we keep dividing ourselves and not identifying or knowing our history, the more they can oppress us, and the more we believe what they teach us, right? Our history is not in schools. They're not teaching us about us. They're not teaching us our real history. And so we continue to perpetuate these systems and and it starts in our mind first, right? A man, as a man think he is, or as we think we are. So I think although we have institutional racism, oppression, all these things, you take over someone's mind, it starts there, you control them.
So I found a name. Paige Hurd was there at Afro Latina Day.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Gina Torres. She was I don't know if I can give you a picture of her. Oh my God, that didn't go right.
Okay.
But she's Lawrence Fishburne's wife, and then I also met Simma Funk. You ever heard of Simma Funk?
No.
Simma Funk was he's an African Cubano. He's from Cuba, and he's performed with Bruno Mars. With one of his favorite people is Bootsy Collins. That's before your time, Parliament Funkadelic. Yes. You don't know about that. Yeah, we are a diaspora. You have a lot of friends. How does social media work for you? I mean, my God. ¿Qué pasa? Hola, ¿cómo está? They're all up and down the joint. You should see the comments.
Oh, I'm so grateful. That's genuine support, and this is what keeps me going. Because I tell you, when people see you doing something good or great, sometimes you could be, and I've been talking about this lately, where it's like I'm a person that wants to see everybody win. My LLC is actually called Lifting While Climbing, and that's my motto. I want to help. I'm still climbing, right? I want to help others lift while I'm climbing. But unfortunately we are in a society, a world where people feel like sometimes they have to stomp on you, or they see you doing great things, and none of that matters. That's not the point. But I'm so grateful when people show up and support, because that's what keeps me going. This is what keeps me going. With social media, I think it's lifting while climbing. So that's what we want. That's what we're about. I want everybody to win. There's enough room for all of us to win. And so the more we can bind together, work together, the more we all win. Like, it don't have to be a competition. You got not you clapping.
Because we have the ability to accomplish anything. Do we realize how much other people feed off of us?
Talk about it. The black dollar is how much? 3 trillion?
1.7 trillion. The real question is how little it circulates. When I get a check, I need to be paying people who look like me a lot more than people who don't. I need to be paying people who live around me a lot more than people who don't. We need to circulate in our own community. I support you. You support me. You got some sugar. I got some salt.
Right.
Share.
Yes.
Right now, the noise you hear outside, now this is a 98% black community. We got some Guatemalans right across the street. Honduras, they're fixing a vacant house. Baltimore got some of the cheapest houses on the East Coast, the cheapest. They have fixed this house over the past 6 or 7 weeks. Yesterday, they just put in a underground water pipe for the bathroom in the basement. There are black people who walk by and say, "Oh wow, the immigrants are taking all the jobs." No, they're not. You walk past that house for 20 damn years and never thought to buy it, let alone fix it. Now that somebody else is, and now we start using, we, black people, start using terms like the immigrants. I'm like, well, damn, are you a Trump supporter too? And I ain't knocking you if you are. I'm just trying to be clear on who you are. But if they over here trying to fix this, I'm all for it. Matter of fact, I'm going to show you how to get the next one next door so we can get that one fixed too, and so on and so forth. We get so, and those are only tools of the enemy. You're not my enemy. You're my sister. The enemy is anybody that don't want to see me grow. Anybody, black, white, purple, or green, Facebook, IG, TikTok, whatever.
Exactly. I agree. And the more we keep allowing folks to divide us, the more they keep conquering us.
Well, you got a mean team. So let me ask you, do you have any events coming up?
So there is June, I know June 15th we're doing, if you are in the New York area, the Harlem area, we'll be having a special Black Wall Street Award. So definitely come out to that.
I'm glad you said that. So we're going to have to regroup on that.
Because, oh, no.
Well, were you able to get us a venue?
We could still use I thought we could use the Harlem Business Alliance. I'm working with them.
No, they gave me a call and said they really don't want to be coming out on a Saturday.
Oh, okay. So then there's a venue we can use, yes.
Okay, because I had to kind of back up. I was it kind of threw me, and yeah, so.
Yeah, but there is a backup venue that's like 2 blocks away on 8 West 126 that we can use.
We give these awards away. We love to celebrate Black entrepreneurship, Latino entrepreneurship. We essentially celebrate anybody that helps out businesses, whatever their race. We've honored every race except maybe an Eskimo. Yes, if you introduce me to one that supports Black business, I will support them too. We will use their venue, what have you.
Yes. And I'm also offering a 3-day boot camp in June. So if you have my social media on Instagram or my website, KeylaConsulting.com, there's a boot camp I'm offering to kind of go through the steps of starting your business, launching it, and kind of navigating this process.
So let me ask you, because I see you got a lot of people here on YouTube. Let me ask you, what is your favorite social media?
So I would say the one I use the most is Instagram. I miss Facebook because Facebook is actually really important. But my original page, something happened with my passport. It didn't get hacked or anything. I just got to get back in there. And then so I would say Instagram and Facebook, although they're owned by the same folks now. And then LinkedIn is something I want to get better at, but LinkedIn is extremely important.
Damn right. I got about 8,000 over there on LinkedIn. Yes. I got a problem with Facebook. Facebook is always coming at me like I'm trying to start a Black revolution, take over the world. Yeah, so they put me in Facebook jail for like 2 years. I had a page with 211,000 followers. We were touching 4 to 6 million people a month. Wow. And then one day I woke up and they took it. And they really wouldn't say, I don't know what it was, but I got the impression that you don't like me talking about Black people. And so for all of them sensitive white people out there, you really need to get a grip on your life, because I ain't gonna stop talking about how proud I am of my people. If that's what your low self-esteem does to you, that's your problem, not mine. That's my stance. You saw the name of my book, Unapologetically Black. They want, always trying to muffle us down. They want our culture, but not our struggle.
That part. Mm-hmm.
They don't know how I feel for somebody to look at you sideways just because of the color of your skin. You walk into a door, you got your suit on, you as clean as anybody in the room. Mm-hmm. But your skin color, So now, they don't want to look at you. We know racism. We know it very well. They really need to get a grip. So Facebook is, but I love YouTube and Google. And TikTok is blowing them all out the damn water.
I know, which is why they want to ban it.
Yes. And black people so quick. Oh, it's the Chinese. Oh, it's the Chinese. Wake up. Wake up. Have they ever called you the N-word? It's 1.5 billion of them. And TikTok already here.
Exactly. I was saying that yesterday too to a good friend of mine where we live in a world where Black people were not allowed, especially Black men, right? I think it's so important to name that they were not allowed to even dream, right? Or express themselves. And I think she was telling me about a situation, and I said, you have to remember that. I just came back from Jackson, Mississippi, right? Where the real South, where the Emmett Till, right, not too far from where, like, the real history where you see it, and it's different there. And so I'm thinking, like, we have to remember, like, this is a world where just because you show up by a color, you're looked as dangerous, right? This is Black men and women, we were not allowed. They were not allowed to dream, and they were not allowed to even, like, just be. And that's something you can't overlook or try to make up for, because you're doing years and years of pain and oppression and trauma for simply existing.
That's why it's so important that you succeed. Because there have been too many times before we were even born where our ancestors had to deal with some silly goofball who needed to be smacked upside the head. It's like a dog. If you have a dog and you kick your dog, and then that dog has puppies, and you kick those puppies, and those puppies have puppies, and you kick those puppies. That's an example of the trauma that people of color, now we can't even say we Black. We can't even say we Latino because they keep trying to move the cheese. Now, whoa, now you are a BIPOC. The hell is a BIPOC? I ain't know that. I don't even like how it start now. First of all, about what? Black indigenous people of color. A what?
Yep.
Well, yeah, I am all of those things. But what happened to me just being Black? When did you have a problem with me being Black? Now you a BIPOC.
I just said this. Like, I literally just said this. They want to couple it all together to make it invisible. Like, we're not invisible. It's not enough to be BIPOC. What is, like, no, I need real. Who in your organization is Black? Who in your organization is African American? However you want to, like, we need real statistics.
Oh, we're not comfortable with those. But that's your damn problem. And matter of fact, maybe you need to get the autobiography of Malcolm X into your life, or maybe you need to get some Souls of Black folk in your life. Maybe you need to start reading the books that you banned and learn what your damn ancestors did and the racist ass self.
Exactly. And May 19th is the anniversary of the assassination of Malcolm X. And so in Harlem, there'll be an event. So look out for that. May 19th.
Is that the assassination or his birthday?
It might be. Was it the anniversary of or his birthday? It could be his birthday. One of them.
Birthday.
Yeah, I think it's his birthday.
But you know what I want to learn about is, May 19th, that's his birthday. Killed February 21st, the year I was born, is Harlem Week. That's in August. Did you know August is Black Business Month?
No, I didn't know that.
Yes. Harlem is Black Business Month. Let me ask you this. Have you been to the White House?
A long time ago, yes.
No, as a business owner?
No, not as a business owner.
So you might need to join the Be More News team and become one of our White House correspondents, because we get invites all of the time. And it's certainly for next year's Afro-Latino, but the president comes to New York. And I'm just telling you, this White House, I will tell you this, we didn't get any rhythm. This whole news outlet, we didn't get any rhythm during the tenure of Orange Man. But when Orange Man left, after he tried to do a what do you call it, an insurrection, he had the people climbing the walls. Can you imagine if black people climbed the walls of the Capitol or were up in the Capitol smoking weed and kicking their feet up on Nancy Pelosi's desk? We'd have got shot. But it's time for you to go to the White House, I think. I think it's time for you to go and start doing some ventures. Like you said, all we need is the thought. Once we realize that the only limit to our thinking is us, anything is possible. Well, sometimes the president comes to New York and we need a correspondent there to go to wherever he was. Recently, I know he went to the Al Sharpton thing.
Yes. The
National Action Network thing down on 53rd Street.
Yes.
And that's where I was coming from when I saw you guys. So let's go ahead and put a plug in for your business. Tell them what you do and start to wrap this thing on up.
Yes. So again, you can connect with us at Keyla Consulting on all platforms, LinkedIn, Instagram, my website, KeylaConsulting.com. Follow us, connect with us, keep in touch. If you want to do a free consultation session to talk about how you want to get started, you can click the link in our bios and our website and set up a free call, and let's just connect. And thank you all so much for joining.
Who should call you? Give me an example. Give me a sample of a client that calls you. Oh, boom, I need you.
Yes. So
and I would imagine not all are in New York. Some people want to come to New York and they need a Keyla Consulting to help them navigate.
Yes. So typically anyone if you wanted to start a business but don't know where to start, if you've been having ideas or thoughts about something that you really want to pursue, let's have a chat. If you are confused about you have a website, you started a business, but you don't really know how to get a sale or move the needle and really go take your next step, let's have a conversation. And lastly, if you need structure, you've been an entrepreneur, you've been doing it for a couple of years, you figured it out just a little bit, but you're struggling on really scaling to go to the next level and you need systems in place, you need to work on your back end. Let's have a talk, let's have a chat, and we can definitely see how we can help you.
Is there a phone number you want to put out there?
Yes, you can actually call us or text us. You can call us or text us at 718-640-7924. Again, that's 718-640-7924. And that'll lead us to our line, and you will get at least a message within 24 to 48 hours.
718-640-7924. What do you like about being an entrepreneur?
What I love about being an entrepreneur is the ability to freely help others without feeling boggled down. Or an entrepreneur, they say if you want to not work, don't become an entrepreneur, right? Because you think you're gonna have free time. You think, oh, freedom of time. Yes, that you may have some of that, but at the end of the day, entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart. You have to be built a little different to continue to push and persevere. And so my favorite thing is the nuance of like getting to work with people, helping people, and also just encouraging. Like someone told me, thank you for helping me believe in my dreams again, or that I could never replace that, right? Even if it's one person, you can't pay I just can't put that into words. Like you're being able to help someone kind of see their vision again or restore hope. I can't replace that.
I heard this once. It said, build your dream. If you don't, somebody will hire you to build theirs.
Very true.
I haven't worked for anyone in 22 years.
Wow. That's amazing.
I would also tell, one of the biggest pieces of advice I would give you is keep your overhead low. Because you got to be able to pay the overhead in the slow months. It's peaks and it's valleys.
Right.
First out the gate, I thought I needed an office. And I had an office at a very good price. It was damn near free. But then I got a free office. And let me tell you what I mean. I needed a place to get mail that wasn't my house. And I had that spot until the building is no longer there. So I had that for about 20 years, and that worked just fine. But I didn't really need a physical office. I didn't. Other people do. I don't, because you got to pay that rent. Now, if you can live there, also, I'll tell you something else. I've seen this so many times, quite often with beauticians. Oh, I like this spot. They get this spot. They rent the spot. They build it out. They start making money. What does the landlord do the first year when it's time to renew? They go up on the rent. Because they counting your money. So my thought, if you got a beautician business, you got a salon, buy it. Live there. Live upstairs. Because what you will end up paying in rent, you might as well just went on and bought the joint. Something else that we are not really willing to do, at least in the Black community, is live in the same space. Like I watch some Latinos in the Black community, they're like 15, 20 deep. In Baltimore, 15, 20 deep. We don't even like each other that much to be 15, 20 deep. I'm just telling you. So being able to do what makes sense.
Right.
If it don't make money, it don't make sense. And everybody can play a role. Family especially. Family can't be the ones that be a tax on you. Family got to be your springboard. So don't go to your new family member. Don't go to Kayla 1 year in the business. Can you give me the hookup? Hell no. You don't ask gas and electric for the hookup. You don't ask the water company for the hookup. You don't ask the mortgage people for the... Don't ask me for no damn hookup. What's wrong with you? Now I'm going to charge you double. Family got to support you. You know, the person laying beside you got to support you.
That's true.
Oh, damn sure don't get in the way.
It's true. Absolutely. And it's like we talk about, we think we measure success of, oh, when I move out my parents' house or when I live on my own, I get the house, I get the car, and all of these that's why I said the society standard and definition of success. But really, if you look at certain communities, they'll live together. Then one person opens up one in Black communities. Let's talk about Chinese stores, Asians, nail salons,
the
right?
Koreans.
Koreans, they take turns opening up, living together, right? And then keeping it in and then taking turns to open one. So there's certain ways that are successful that don't look like success to the mainstream. There's a quote that says, I could have $100,000 in my bank and drive a $5,000 car paid off, and people would think I'm broke. And I could have a financed $100K car with no money in my bank, and people think I'm rich. And that's the problem.
So let me say this. Stop looking at celebrities to measure yourself by. Because last I checked, they look like some miserable ass people to me. I you know, big ups to their success, but you don't know what they got to do, whether it's the Joneses or the celebrity. You don't know what they got to do. And as we get older and start seeing more things, you're like, damn, I'm not doing all of that. I'm not selling my soul for what they think they got. Because I can go to sleep at night and not worry about my back. So stop measuring yourself by celebrities. Because half of them look miserable. Or 1 minute they fat, next minute they skinny. You like, well, damn, are you eating, dog? I mean, keep it simple. And support people who support you.
Amen.
All right, Kayla, we gotta get up out of here.
Yes, we could go all day. But thank you so much again for having me. I'm so excited for all that you are doing. And thank you for speaking truth to power. We need more voices. And although they'll try to silence you.
I get a lot of love in New York. A lot of love. And it's always inspiring me. I had on Reggie Jackson jersey today. I'm walking to the market. They's like a hardcore Baltimore. Like, you from Baltimore? You from Baltimore? I said, but I love New York. And let me tell you why. There's an energy there. For anybody in business, there's an energy there. When I come up there, it's like I'm recharging my battery. I'm getting that pop. You're around a lot of people who aren't thinking in an entrepreneurial way, who are not thinking about ownership or home ownership. It can dull your knife. So yeah, I come to New York to sharpen my knife, to make sure I'm on my A game. The seed business is a city that never sleeps. I rarely sleep. I sleep now more than as I get older. But when you're young and you're hungry, you got to use that energy to go and build your empire. And also, women have been a big inspiration to me. Even with me coming to New York, there's a young lady here in Baltimore named Jet Miller. And she's a cosmetologist, beautician. And she would, every weekend, she's going to New York, going to New York, going to New York. And I'm like, and I peeped the game, and I'm like, maybe I need to be going to New York. And we started going to New York 11 years ago, started doing the awards. The first one was at the United Nations. And we went to Brooklyn a couple of times, downtown Manhattan. Then we went uptown, found a lot of love in Harlem. And this has been 11 years, and I wouldn't trade it. I've even brought my children, as my mom took me to New York, because I want them to know about the big city. Baltimore is beautiful. I love Baltimore. We got great food. Now, we do share food a little bit more than y'all. But I still, and Sheepshead Bay are some of the best seafood I've ever had.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so Sadara, who is Sadara Minor?
That is a good friend of mine and church family. She is one of my friend's mom, and we're also friends too. She's amazing.
So we got to know that before any of this, you better keep God first. And if you keep God first, you can do anything but fail. That's my lesson, and I better put that in my book. I'm writing my 3rd book now, but keep God first. If you keep God first, you can do anything but fail. So before we, as you noticed, before we did the event, we had prayer.
Wow, I love that. I missed that part. That's me right there. Prayer, all things come through prayer and fasted. So that's me.
Yeah. It's been a pleasure, and we can't wait to bring you back. Matter of fact, you should have a show on this network.
Yeah, let's talk about it. I think I mean, people want it. The people want it, then let's talk about it. I'm open to it.
Amen.
She said amen. Yes.
That's right. God first. You keep God first, you can do anything but fail.
Exactly.
We've got an Emmy nomination. We've been to the White House 50 times, been to Africa, been to the Middle East. You can do anything you put your mind to. Anything. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, or whatever you want to call God. That's fine with me. All right, we're going to get up out of here. Thank you so much, and God bless you, New York. Sadara is on a roll. Raya, right. Power to the people. Up to date, down tomorrow. We do the show Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. East Coast time. So, you're always welcome. And I think you should have your own show on this network.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Okay. Up to date, down tomorrow. Do your day, and everything will follow. Nothing to it but to do it. I got to do it, regardless of how I feel. I am somebody. I am my brother's keeper. Good morning, world.